Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to talk about the new Makeup by Mario collection release, which is at Sephora. It has the Master Metallics, the Master Mattes, the Master Metals, and wrap brushes. But make sure that you're subscribed and hitting that notification bell. Alright, let's move forward. So all of the packaging is white, and as you may notice with mine, it got pretty dirty pretty fast. So that's something to keep in mind first thing with this collection. So the first product I picked up was the Master Metallics eyeshadow palette, and that one appealed to me the most because of the shimmers. It's $48, and I'll talk about the other product I tried as well. But this one, first off, I thought let's compare it to the Viseart, which has all shimmers, and Mario's previous palette with ABH. So as you guys are noticing, there's obviously no mattes here, and the shimmers themselves are nothing extraordinary. I find that you can probably get these shimmers in a lot of other palettes, so you guys can see a little bit more closely. They are nothing super special. It's not like, oh, I've never seen these shimmers before. In fact, if you own a lot of makeup like me, you probably have dupes of all of these colors, maybe not all of them, because the only one that I was finding it a little bit hard to find dupes for was that metallic green, which we'll talk about in a second. But as you can see, all these other colors, like, they're okay, whereas like if you compare it to the Makeup by Mario collection with ABH, those were just like fantastic. There was shimmers, there was mattes, and even that olive green had a nice like duochrome tone to it, and it wasn't as glittery as this new release. It had some nice brown mattes in there. It was just such a unique palette, whereas here I feel like he tried to do something like a Viseart approach to shimmers, and it, like, I don't know, for me it just wasn't the same, whereas his old palette was just so phenomenal, and I still can get so many looks out of that one. Now, just for reference sake, I will take this Viseart palette that came out like several years ago. I barely touched it, but I will just show you guys how the Viseart performs in comparison. And this is like an all shimmer palette, as you can see. So side by side, you're definitely getting way more colors with the Viseart, and they're a lot more brighter and a lot more pigmented. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in a second. So you see that the blue in the Viseart is a lot brighter. It's almost like more refined, like the glitter in there is a lot more refined, and the Mario palette comes across a lot cheaper. Well, it actually is, because the Mario palette is what, like $48, whereas the Viseart, I think I remember correctly, it was like $170 back then. It was good that he made a more affordable shimmer palette, but what I'm saying is, in 2020, if you're releasing a new palette as a new makeup company, I would say, why not just go above and beyond? Why not just do something better or something more unique that sets you out from the crowd, rather than to just be something mediocre with a mediocre price range. If you look at the Viseart, it's a lot more brighter, and it has that pop of color. Compared to the Mario palette, I feel like the colors are a lot more dull, and side by side you can see how much brighter the Viseart pans are, and overall the quality of the Viseart product is a little bit more refined. So this is what I expected of Mario's palette to be. I expected it to be the ultimate eyeshadow palette, because he is coming from a lot of fame with his celebrity collaborations in the past. So I'm not quite sure if I'm impressed. Now I'm going to have a look at these swatches in the sunlight. As you can see, the top row are Viseart and the bottom is the Mario. Viseart just seems a little bit more brighter. Another all shimmer palette that I thought to compare it with was the Natasha Denona holiday release from like 3 years ago, and that palette also had a similar quality with the shimmers. Now I know it doesn't have that light blue or that dark red in it, but just to compare that champagne color and that sort of burgundy red color, I feel that you can get exactly the same texture, except the Mario palette is slightly patchier. Like, I get a little bit of, you see that chunkiness that is created in the middle, so the texture is not as even and not as great as the Natasha Denona one, even though I feel that it comes very close. So for $48 you can either pick up that Natasha Denona palette, which by the way is sold out now, or get that Mario palette, which again, my only interest in it was that one olive green. I really want to see if I have a dupe for that olive green, because everything else I feel that we've seen many times over, and that blue is just not something that interests me. So I'm looking for that olive green. And again, the packaging here is already getting super dirty. So I went and picked out some olive greens from my collection. I picked up the Charlotte Tilbury and some Sydney Grace Terra Moons singles. And right off the bat, this is too dark for that kind of olive green tone. But then I found another olive green from my Sydney Grace collection called Escape. And as you guys can see, that's such a bright and beautiful olive green that has a very nice shimmer to it, and I really do enjoy their singles very much. I think that they have a really nice shift to them, and again, they're only like what, $6 or $7 compared to buying a whole palette from Mario for like $49. And the Mario one pulls a lot more yellow, whereas I feel that the Sydney Grace one has a really nice green shift to it. I actually prefer the Sydney Grace one. I don't know, let me know in the comments which one you guys prefer. And then I also decided to compare it to my Charlotte Tilbury Starry Eyes palette. Now, as you guys can see, the Charlotte Tilbury one actually looks very much identical, if not more refined and a lot more muted than the Mario one, but it's kind of like a classy shade. Like, it doesn't scream cheap at all. It actually comes across really nice and classy. So the shimmer palette I would skip, and the matte one I'm not going to pick up because I already have a ton of good mattes with Natasha Denona and with Viseart. I'm not really interested in the mattes here. The only other interesting one that I thought would be worth looking at for you guys was the Master Metals eyeshadow palette, and as you guys saw in my Instagram post, it got a little messy. Basically, the girl at the Sephora was like, no, you can't touch the testers, but then she was like, I'll do it for you. And then I said, okay, then I'm gonna film it if that's okay. And then she said, okay, no, you just do it yourself. So she basically let me do the mixing myself, and it was hard. It was hard to you had to scrape a chunk of product out, and then you had to start like adding the mixer to it. And there was another person there that was basically walking us through the instructions, as in like, okay, now you have to start adding the mixer afterwards. Just take a chunk of product out. And as you guys can see, I didn't even take that much product out, but it quickly got really messy, and you had to like at least have a fine amount of product to be able to get a nice liquid. So I feel that this palette definitely comes with a learning curve, that even the experienced makeup artists there were kind of like, let's just wing it and see how it goes. And then another interesting thing that I found is that you can obviously mix 2 or 3 different colors together. Like, if you're a person that, like me, likes to paint or do watercolor or any kind of painting, you might have fun with this if you're just into like mixing several colors together and, you know, creating a new look or a new color. That might be something fun to do, but it's definitely not something to grab and go on your way out of the house if you're just looking for a quick fix. And invest in some space on your vanity for these kind of messes, and be prepared to do some cleanup afterwards, because each time that you use this product, if you accidentally get liquid inside of those pans, you are going to shorten the shelf life, just from a microbiology perspective. Now, the good news about this product is once you do apply it onto the skin, it does last very long. And like I said, you can mix the pinks and the blues to come out with a purple. You can make the gold more orangey or less orangey if you want, and you do get to create new colors here. It does dry really quickly, and I do like that about it. But for someone who might be slower than creating looks, then that might be a disadvantage, because you don't want it to dry out too quickly. Again, this is something I personally prefer with creating colors and mixing colors. I like to be fast. I don't like to spend hours creating a mixed look. But as you can see, and it does have only one type of metallic finish. It's not like the chromium for example, by Natasha Denona, which I'm going to swatch side by side here, which has like a multi-chrome or duochrome finish to it. You see the Natasha Denona actually does shift in different light and gives you several different colors, but the drying time on the Natasha Denona is probably about, I would say, the same, if not faster. And if you already own the Natasha Denona, you pay $28 for it, I don't know why you would go and pay $48 for this product or any of these products. Think that he could have done better. I really wish that the colors of the pans were more dirt proof, and I wish that the quality overall was something exceptional, but you are paying for what you're getting. So at the end of the day, it's not bad that he is bringing all this amount of product for a wider market, and that might be a smart decision on his part. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below what you guys liked and if you're going to be picking this up. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.